What the fuck is up, gamers? Welcome to Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die. It's your number one podcast for the terminally online. I'm Sarah, aka... Oh, fuck. I forgot about nicknames. Oh, hell, hold on. I'm gonna go to the collective. I have my name is Sarah, aka the voice of trans.
Oh, yeah, you have to go with that one.
Yeah.
Because it dropped, like, within moments of the episode last week, so...
Well, they covered it last week.
Oh, did they? Oh, yeah, right at the end.
Yeah, unfortunately, we cannot talk about the voice of trans this week.
God damn it. I'm Matt, a.k.a. Justin True Woke.
I like that.
Yeah, I came up with it.
It's been like a month since I've been on the show, because I've just been busy and in hellbrain.
I have finally stopped toiling in the evening in the tax mines, and now I toil in the daytime in the tax mines.
So you can podcast.
I can podcast again. I can, like, exist as a human being.
Yeah.
Working afternoons sucks big ass.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Just, like, you don't get to eat dinner. I've just, like, completely overlooked how good being able to, like, eat dinner is.
Yeah. You want to talk about some news?
I kind of want to talk about a little bit of news, but just first things first, you forgot to say not a threat, and I think it's very important.
Not a threat, just a fact.
It's very important that we say up front that it is not a threat. Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die, and it is just a fact.
It's just a fact of life.
You can't forget that one.
Cannot forget it. Very important.
But yeah, man, I am news, very much so.
Yeah. So here's a story that I am very excited to talk about.
This is the most important story.
Yeah, very much so. So, the Taylor Swift, a Taylor Swift stan account is making the rounds on Twitter, and it is because, the owner, I believe at Legit Tay Updates, has recently been released from prison, shortly, about 2 months after she was sentenced to prison for dodging the draft and not joining the IDF.
Which, like, I like that she said, I've been in prison, and then it's like, for what? For not joining the IDF, LMAO.
Yeah, like...
And she was still reportedly, like, getting Taylor Swift updates in prison.
Yeah. So that's all that really we have to say, but thankfully it's not just us, because we actually got to have Alex sit down with the owner, the person behind Legit Tay Updates, to interview her, and that's coming up right here.
I'm here today with the most stan-worthy stan on the internet. You may know her as Legit Tay Updates, but today...
The most stan-worthy stan! Oh my god!
You are pretty stan-worthy, I have to say.
That's a really funny way to describe me. Usually when I describe myself, I say bisexual, communist, dumbass. But I mean...
Me too.
Very relatable.
We're just going to call you N for this. Well, first of all, thank you for coming on the show. We're really happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here. I mean, everything for the leftist agenda, you know?
Yeah. So, I guess you've had a pretty whirlwind few days.
I've been out of prison for, 4 days? And it's been, like, non-stop, like, moving and talking and activism. I'm very overwhelmed. And it's not even over. That's the thing. I thought it would be, like, one day, it will blow over and it will be fine. But it's still happening, like, right now, for instance.
Well... Yeah, I mean, I guess, at least in the West, we don't really hear many stories of people who object to joining the IDF. So I think it's really exciting for all of us to hear about.
Yes, I think that not a lot of Israelis are on Twitter just in general, or on many social medias that aren't Instagram, for instance. That's pretty popular in Israel. So you don't hear about our experiences.
Yeah.
But it's something pretty common. I'm pretty sure everyone knows someone who sat in prison or refused to enlist or something.
Okay, well, that's one of the things I wanted to ask you about. So how is it seen in Israel? Like you said, it's quite common, so...
Well, if you don't enlist for, like, proper reasons, then people, they will kind of look down on you, but they'll accept it. Like, if you have some sort of mental health issue, then they'll be like, we understand, but they would still, like, they would prefer you would serve. But if you object completely, they think you're lazy, they'll call you a traitor. I've been called ungrateful on Twitter quite a lot like that. Yeah, because they feel like they're doing their part and I'm not, you know? And I am doing my part. I'm just not doing my part for the IDF. I'm doing my part for Palestine.
Yeah, exactly. So when did you know that you were going to object?
I think I was around 17. I started to be aware of things going on in Palestine when I was about 16, but only when I was about in the summer when I was, like 16 and a half, I think. I met actual Palestinians, and that really changed my mindset. And from there, I just kept researching and learning and getting educated. And then I just knew that was what I was going to do. And I tried to be a moral objector.
Yeah.
But first of all, it was a bit late in the process. So they kind of didn't believe me from the get-go. And they kept asking me questions. They put you in front of a panel and they ask you all kinds of questions about your morals and to try and prove you're not a pacifist. And they proved I wasn't a pacifist.
I mean, that you should be able to object just from political grounds anyway. I was reading an article about how you said that you would punch a Nazi.
Well, yes, wouldn't you? I mean...
I feel like even the strongest pacifist should be able to punch a Nazi.
Yes, I feel like we should get a free pass for that, to be honest.
Yeah.
There are some people who deserve to be punched, and that is okay. That is how humanity works. Some people are great, like Taylor Swift, and others deserve to be punched, like Nazis. That is a great quote. I really hope someone prints that somewhere.
I think that's a great quote. I think that's like a splash line you should use.
Yes, I'll put it on my ceiling. It'll be really nice, I think, looking up, being like, there are good people like Taylor Swift, and then people who should punch like Nazis.
So we can skip this if you like, but what was prison like?
Prison was so boring. Like, what we did, they would make us... It was the most boring. Everyone thinks that prison is so terrible and they, hit you with, rulers and stuff. It wasn't, bad. It was just very boring. They would wake us up at, 5 in the morning or 5:30 or something stupid early. And they would count us. And then they would let us get ready for the day and then they would count us again. And then we would go have breakfast and then they'd count us again. And then we'd have some free time or we'd do some work, we'd fix fences or kitchen duty or stuff like that. And then they'd count us again. They just keep counting us.
Yeah, that does sound boring.
It was so stupid. How do you think we're going to... Do they think we're going to escape? I don't understand.
Were you just there with other Israeli citizens or were there Palestinians?
So it's a military prison. It's not like a state prison. So there were only people who committed crimes while in the IDF and people who refused to join the IDF, stuff like that.
Okay.
It was under military. It wasn't like regular Israeli prison. Not that I've been there. Who knows? Nah.
I mean, I'm not going to ask your entire criminal record. That's for you to know.
In the 4th grade, I was suspended for punching some. So here we go.
Were they a Nazi?
No, but my best friend has dyslexia.
Uh-huh.
And this kid said something really mean about, and I punched him. And then they asked me to apologize. And I said no. So they suspended me for 2 days.
It sounds like you were always a bit of a fighter, so I think that's cool.
Well, I was very much more aggressive then. Now I know how to do it a bit more peacefully. But again, if that kid would be here right now and he'd say the same thing about my best friend, I'd still punch him in the face. I'll be honest. As I said, some people deserve to be punched in the face, and that is okay.
And others don't, like Taylor Swift.
Like Taylor Swift.
So speaking of Taylor, I have to say I loved your letter.
Oh, yeah. I'm happy that it made people happy.
Your sense of humor is really apparent, and it's been kind of great to look at your tweets and everything.
Yes, so I do think that I look at it from a humor perspective, because the other alternative is really sad, so
Yeah.
You better laugh about it.
Okay, I have to ask, is it true that you got a Larry fanfic?
Well, I didn't get it, but someone snuck it into prison in a binder, a really big binder, and it was called a Jewish history in Eastern Europe or Western Europe or something like that, to try and not talk about how it's porn, but it was porn. It was very clearly porn. And the thing is that no one even knew that it was about One Direction. They were just they just thought it was random characters that are recurring but in different situations. So they were like, oh, this is cool because it's a collection of short stories where there are the same people and they have very similar personalities in every story, but they have different jobs, or they react differently to situations and stuff like that. But also there was only
Holy shit.
yes, it was so big. It was, oh god. And people would trade it for cigarettes and stuff because you get bored in prison, and if someone sneaks in porn, you want to read it.
Well, yeah.
I personally didn't, but I mean, it was funny. I got to see it. I remember names of a few stories. This is a funny thing. Someone told me that on Tumblr, Larry Shippers, they started a tag called the 24-story prison tag, where they choose 24 fanfics that they would take to prison. Yes, and they've been making memes about it and everything. It's kind of funny how I'm a bit of like an online celebrity in their community now, which is very funny. I like them. They're funny people.
That's so great.
I think that the people would like to know and go on the tag and see what stories the people chose.
I did want to ask, what is your take on musicians who perform in Israel? Because that's sort of a big hot button issue, at least over here. And I wanted to know what it was like from your perspective.
So I'm ashamed to say that about a year ago, I would get very angry at artists who would cancel their performances in Israel or just wouldn't perform at all. But then I realized that when they perform in Israel, the government makes money off of them. And they also sort of like give validation to things that Israel does, you know?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Like it's like the whole thing with Brunei right now. I mean, it's not to the same extent because Israel doesn't have like a law against like that if you see a Palestinian, you kill him.
Mm-hmm.
But like it does have that discrimination and that history of violence. And if an artist wouldn't boycott Israel, I would be a little suspicious because that feels a bit greedy to me. And while it does hurt me because I don't get to see people in concert a lot, I understand it, you know, like I don't mind it as much. I think that people should be political and they should stick to their morals, even if that means that they make less money or don't perform somewhere where their fans really want them to perform.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I think from us, like outside of Israel, knowing what we can do. I'm not a celebrity. I need to tell you this.
Oh God, I've been tricked.
So I'm probably never going to perform in Israel anyway. But from smaller things like the BDS movement, it's good to know that, yeah, a lot of things do affect the Israeli government. Obviously, you're depriving like your fans of music, but at the end of the day,
Israel is depriving Palestinians of their human rights. So what do you think is worse, you know?
Exactly.
I get it. Like, I don't agree with every single thing where they boycott Israel because there are good people here. But again, if it helps the government, I don't want it. You know, I'm very much against the government right now. And we'll see what happens in the election, but I'll probably still be against it even after the election. Yeah, it's just because no political party has any opinion on Palestine. Only the Arabic parties have an actual opinion, and maybe like Meretz, which is like the main left Israeli party.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the parties, they don't talk about what they'll do with Palestine. They talk about security, which I know what that means. That means that they will fight against terror, but they won't care about casualties and stuff, which they don't.
I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about your child relief fund, because I think it's great that you've been using, you know, the attention you've been getting to put it to a good place.
Oh, I love the PCRF. I love it so much. I talked to the founder, Steve, the other day. He's such a rock star. He's so cool. He used to be a reporter near Gaza, and he would see how IDF soldiers treat children there, and he couldn't stand for it, so he made the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. And it's probably my favorite charity, not just because it's not political or religiously motivated, but because they're very transparent about everything they do. You can look at their IRS forms, you can see exactly where their money is going. Like they tell you what they're doing. 86% of all of their expenses are directly to services, and that is like amazing. That's unheard of in today's charities. And not to mention that helping kids is like the best cause, you know?
Yeah, that's great. I was looking at it, and it's like whatever, there's so many nuances, and you know, whatever you agree upon, we really need to protect children, and I think what they're doing is amazing, and I'm really glad that you put it to our attention.
Yes, I even started my own little fundraiser within it, just because I think people feel more motivated to donate if there's like a goal or something.
Yeah.
It's called Right for Childhood. One of my followers on Twitter suggested that name. Also, Bisexual Communists for Palestine was suggested. So that also, Let's Go Lesbians, Let's Go. You know, a lot of good names for the charity. But okay, so we raised almost $1,500 in a day. I'm so happy that I can do this because, wait, am I allowed to say that I get paid to do this?
Yes, you can say.
Okay. Well, I just want people to know that I'm not doing any. Oh wait, we actually did pass 1,500. Oh my god, it's so great.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, so we're almost at 10% of the goal. I mean, any money raised will go to the PCRF.
Mm-hmm.
But if we do reach $20,000, that would be absolutely crazy.
I really hope so. I'm fingers crossed. We'll definitely do our best to get it out there and let people know.
So I do want to tell the listeners.
Yep.
I'm not getting paid at all for any activism, any money offered to me to do podcasts or interviews or anything like that. All of that money goes to the PCRF. I want absolutely no money or whatever from this. I don't think that being a decent human being should be rewarded with money when I'm not rich, but I'm okay. But people in Palestine aren't okay, and they're the ones who need it more. So any offers of money, people tell me, I just direct them to the PCRF. So I would like to thank the podcast for, instead of paying me, donating it to the PCRF. That's really great. You're going to help children in the Middle East. It's amazing. Thank you.
Oh, you don't have to thank us. I mean, we want to do that anyway.
But still.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming on. I think that's all our questions. Unless, do you want to tell us what your favorite Taylor album is?
Oh, it's 1989, hands down. It's pop perfection. I mean, oh my god. It has her best song, I Know Places. It has Blank Space. It has Bad Blood. It has Shake It Off, which is the best song ever created. Whenever you listen to it, you immediately feel better, no matter what. It's science.
You're right. That is science.
I'm totally a scientist. You can trust me. I've done my research, and Shake It Off is the best song ever.
I think you're right. So I think that's everything. And do you have anything else to tell our listeners? We'll put a link to the fundraiser in the episode description.
Yes, that would be great. Other than that, I just want people to stay informed. I mean, read reports from the UN about the situation in Palestine. Read news from Israeli outlets and also Palestinian outlets. Just stay educated, and not just about Israel, Palestine, but about anything you care about, like the upcoming election or whatever.
Yeah, I think you're right. I totally agree with you. And
the best weapon is knowledge.
Yeah, and your fists.
But that's only for Nazis. Please don't use your fists for voting in the presidential election. That seems not do that.
Yeah, I don't know how you could use your fists for that, but you can definitely use your brain and put your votes where they count. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I had a great time. You're really funny.
Oh, you too.
Thank you.
Do you want to plug your Twitter or anything?
If you like parody updates about Taylor Swift, follow me at Legit Tay Updates. If you want me to hear complain about communism, I also have a second account which isn't updated. It's I Know Places MP6. It used to be MP3. I was suspended, so here we are. Every time I'll get suspended, I'll just add another number, and then we'll be I Know Places MP12 someday.
I hope it gets to 69. I mean, I hope you don't get suspended that many times, but it'll at least be funny.
Yeah, so over there I complain about authoritarian communism and why Taylor Swift isn't releasing any new music, and just general things if you want to just see who I am beyond the update account.
That sounds great. I will definitely follow you.
Awesome. I'll follow you back.
And we wish her the best in all she does.
We truly do wish her the best.
Especially because she made a post saying that all the people in her jail don't even listen to Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion. And just talking about music, and she's like, I'm literally in hell. They don't even listen to Emotion in here.
This is literally the most interesting person in the world.
Like, we stan this stan.
We stand this stand so hard.
That's based, yeah, just so wonderful.
Yeah. So here's another fun story that's been, it kind of flared up and then went away, which is, a little concerning because it brought something to light. But, so Jim Carrey, in the headlines again, not because of his wife, not because of his, is it wife or ex-wife? I can never remember. Ex-wife, spouting anti-vaccination things. Is Jim Carrey unproblematic or is he still an anti-vaxxer?
I don't honestly know, but he does seem to hate fascism, and so we can't say if it's good or bad, actually.
Yeah, but anyways, Carrie drew the hanging of Mussolini's corpse at the Piazzale Loreto. Apologies if I butchered that pronunciation. I don't know a single word of Italian.
It fucking ruled.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was some good-ass art. And Alessandra Mussolini, the granddaughter of Benito Mussolini, the fascist leader of Italy, reached out to Jim Carrey to inform him that he is a bastard.
The thing you gotta know about Mussolini is that he bungled every single major battle he ever did and then died like a chump. So
I literally know, I gotta be honest, I know nothing of, like, Mussolini is the one player in World War II who I feel like I never learned anything about except for the fact that he was a fascist bastard.
yeah, no, he sucked total ass. And then essentially, in 1943, he was forced out of leadership by, like, the remainder of Italians. They're just,
and then
like,
he was killed and hung, and then he was killed and hung by his feet at the Piazzale Loreto.
By communists. Let's be true. He got hanged by communists. Because he was essentially trying to escape Italy.
While Alessandra Mussolini, who henceforth will be just referred to as Mussolini, if we ever have to talk about her granddad, we will refer to him as Benito. But Mussolini sent him a picture of, it just looked like a nuclear bomb going off. I accidentally, when I was looking for information about this, I accidentally wound up on a Daily Caller on the Daily Caller. And they said that was explicitly a picture of the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but it was just one picture, so I don't really know. I mean, is that
how that goes?
Is that both Hiroshima and Nagasaki? It's
who knows? Either way, she responded with a number of American war crimes to this Canadian man.
Yeah.
which that's the first part that's really good about it. Yeah. And then the second part being like, Jim Carrey's grandfather was not directly implicated in the carrying out of these actions.
Right.
Whereas her pop, her opa, her fucking what's the Italian grandpa? Man, I don't know.
Her grandpa got the pop head job for real.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Matt did remind me. It is no. Like N-O or no. Yeah, just like N-O and N-O.
But so this, she also asked him if he was aware of the history of hashtag Rosa Park. You get one.
Like a singular?
One Rosa Park.
It was just a single Rosa Park. She probably literally thinks it's a park.
The funniest thing in the world is that she attached an image where the woman's name was spelled, like, where Rosa Parks' name was. It was on the picture, and she said, "Do you know the history of hashtag Rosa Park?"
You get one.
And, like, not to like dogpile on these fascist assholes for grammar. It's just a really funny thing to me.
Well, yeah, to be fair, English is not her first language.
Right.
But at the same time,
but also a proper noun. Like Italian is not my first language, but I'm still calling her Alessandra Mussolini.
Yeah. God. Yeah, so she's a far-right member of parliament since 2008. Her husband was implicated in a child prostitution ring. Still married to him.
Well, that was in 2013.
She was also a pop singer in, like, the 80s.
She quit her former political party when her party leader called fascism, quote, the absolute evil, and apologized for Italy's role in World War II.
Oh, good. Ooh, that's good. That's... You know what? I'm gonna open my beeb to that.
Sorry, European Parliament, not Italian. Thank you for reminding me. And up until that point, Mussolini had been like pretty socially progressive, like in terms of like, you know, feminism and like, you know, same like LGBTQ rights. And then like someone just said, sorry about our role in one of the greatest atrocities mankind has ever committed. And she was like, fuck it, you're calling my granddad, you're calling my pop a mean man. He already died once. Why's he gotta die again? And was like, you made me racist now.
Mussolini is Pokemon going to die twice.
Mussolini shadows die twice.
Yeah, no, it's Mussolini shadows die twice. Can you imagine Sekiro, but all the enemies are just exaggerated caricatures of Benito Mussolini, and then you just get to fuck them all up?
I was thinking it was the other way around, where the main character is Benito Mussolini, but like he doesn't have a sword or anything. He just kind of sucks, and the only thing you can do is get killed by communists.
Yeah, no, just huge jacked communists.
Yeah. One more fun fact about Miss Mussolini before we get off the facts here. She used to be an actress, but she quit when her producer suggested that she change her last name.
Like all of Hitler's descendants at least have the decency to pretend they don't know him.
And even if they weren't, like, honestly, like if my name just so happens to, if I just happen to, even if I'm not related, but like if I just so happen to share a last name with like a like someone horrible, like if my last name just so happened to be Stalin, I would be like, well.
You know, sometimes you just got to be like, why do I got to change my name? I'm not the one who sucks.
But in this case, Mrs. Mussolini, I have to say Mrs. because remember she has a husband who did at one point plead guilty. He later like made a plea deal or something. I don't exactly have all the details on that. But her husband pleaded guilty at one point to being a client of a child prostitution ring. They are still married, but Mrs. Mussolini did not step up and just say, you know what, you know what, you're right. They see that name, they're not going to be happy about it, I'll change my name. But instead was like, fuck this, I came out to act, I'm having a great time, attacked right now, whatever, some shit like that.
Yeah, etc. I mean, you could always do the power move of changing your name to someone who is shitty, and then it's your name now. Like musician Scott Walker.
Yeah.
He's the main Scott Walker. The other Scott Walker doesn't exist. Also, rest in peace to the musician Scott Walker.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so Miss Mussolini, it's just like, I don't know, like, I feel like if you are a descendant of, like, of a fascist leader, like, you should not be allowed in politics.
I mean, she thinks fascism is good, is the long and short of it, and also has gotten literally elected on that premise.
You know what? You've got a good point there.
Like, Italy is into it.
Yeah, which sucks, and, like, this is a very funny story, but also it's just like, damn, they really let, like, Mussolini's offspring, like, first, like, you obviously cannot have the child of a dictator be in the, like, a child of a fascist dictator be in politics, but, like, grandchild, once you start getting to the third generation, then I think there's some room for argument, but, like,
not if they suck.
Yeah, obviously, not if they suck, but like
what if Alessandra Mussolini had that name and then just decided to be really communist about it? Like, that would fucking slap. That would slap so hard.
I gotta be real, that does slap. Did you happen to see that video of Joseph Stalin? I brought up Stalin earlier, but it wasn't Stalin. Sorry, no, it was Marx. Karl Marx's very different people, but Karl Marx's grandson just does parkour videos on YouTube.
Yeah. That is a good thing to know.
Yeah, I'm really happy about that one.
But yeah, I feel like we haven't been talking enough about how the feud is with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey is...
Jim Carrey drew a face on his butt and then moved his cheeks in and out to make it look like he was talking. And now he's drawing political cartoons in which fascists are hanged on Twitter and then getting into arguments with members of the European Parliament.
Okay, so remember how I mentioned about 2 minutes ago that I actually wound up on the Daily Caller because I was just clicking links and I didn't recognize what the source was? They referred to Jim Carrey in the first paragraph, they referred to him as the Ace Ventura Pet Detective star, and in the second paragraph, they referred to him as the Fun with Dick and Jane star. You know, the movie the movie that James Carrey is so famous for.
He is famous. He is famously in the movie of Fun with Dick and Jane, which I have seen in theaters.
Hey, I've seen that movie a lot. I like that movie.
I saw it in theaters. I paid theater money to see it.
Sorry, I should rephrase. I liked that movie. It's
not very good.
I don't think it is. It does have the good song of Time Bomb in it.
Yeah. Do you think we could get Jim Carrey on HKIP?
I think we could. Jim Carrey go on HKIP.
Jim Carrey, go on HKIP.
Listen,
keep doing what you're doing as long as what you're doing isn't anti-vax.
Yeah, I feel like I unfollowed him like last year on Twitter after he was like, check out my new anti-vax documentary, but I have no sense of time ever since the 2016 election, so that could have been
I feel like that was like 4 years ago. Yeah. So who knows?
We have to deal with another year and a half of election.
Look, I'm dealing with an election that's happening this year.
Oh, I am so sorry.
Shut up.
I am genuinely so sorry. We live in hell constantly.
Oh, Canada? Oh, man. I mean, I guess I could get into this now because I did want to talk about the Canada stuff. Yes. And I did make my name Justin True Woke this week.
Justin True Woke. I stan.
Okay, so even though I do listen to every episode of this podcast, I can't remember how much of this has been discussed. But the Liberal Party in Canada is having an extremely normal one right now. The
most normal of all normal ones.
Okay, so the long and short is the Justice Minister, Wilson-Raybould, was booted from Parliament, like booted from the Liberal caucus, as well as another member of the cabinet, Jane Philpott. So remember how Justin Trudeau's whole thing was having his gender-balanced cabinet?
I don't remember that, but I believe that it happened.
It was one of the things he went with when he selected his cabinet. Anyways, it's not anymore because 2 prominent women left and then were suddenly kicked out of the Liberal Party.
Really makes you at Septipus huge emoji thinking.
Yeah. So the thing with Jody Wilson-Raybould is that she was being moved off of one portfolio. I can't remember which portfolio exactly, but it was because she wanted to not interfere in criminal proceedings against SNC-Lavalin, which is a engineering and construction firm, because, has some semblance of ethics, and Trudeau was basically like, but jobs. And that's the kind of argument that has given away like billions and billions of dollars to huge corporations in Canada. Like, it happens constantly. GM got a huge amount of money after how there's like the whole bailout in the States. They also got a ton of money from the Canadian government to keep their operations. And then they closed their plant in Oshawa and fired like several thousand people.
Oof.
So, she did not want to participate in this and basically told him so, and then eventually resigned from cabinet, and then eventually was fully kicked out of the party for essentially dragging Trudeau's name through the mud. And then Jane Philpott, who's another member of cabinet, quit similarly for a similar reason. And then basically she was like Justin Trudeau has a women problem, and he's like, but I have all these women in my cabinet who are doing big things. And his fake woke shit is super tired at this point.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly just a mask. It's clearly just posturing. That's kind of how liberals here, and liberals as the pejorative there.
Liberals
as the party here, but liberals as the pejorative in the States. So basically the Democrats. And just puts on his posturing and then does not take accountability for anything that happens as a result of it.
It's all style, no substance, except for it's also no style.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, we all saw how he dressed. We have an emoji of it now. Later in the week, so I think this article just dropped today, Canada expects foreign meddling in October election, Chrystia Freeland says. So that's our foreign affairs minister. One of the people he cited as women doing good work in his cabinet. So they're pushing the Russia angle nice and early so that when they lose this election, because progressive voters are going to go to the NDP, the New Democratic Party, which is our center-left kind of party, who's like generally pretty cool, and like some of their MPs are like genuine socialists, but as a whole are kind of an underwhelming party.
Is that like the leftmost of the big parties in Canada?
Yeah, they're functionally our Labour Party.
Apologies for all the questions that I have to ask whenever.
Oh no, it's fine.
American politics is extremely complicated to keep my head on, and so when this general election comes up, that's going to be Trudeau up against Ford.
No, Ford is the leader of the Progressive Conservatives, which, hilarious name, are the Ontario Conservative Party, and he already won his election.
Okay.
So he gets to run roughshod over Ontario for 4 years. He's already done a lot of damage. I'll get some of that later. But essentially, he's going to be up against a guy named Andrew Scheer, which if you ever saw a picture of Stephen Harper, our previous leader who looks like a cyborg pretending to be human, this guy's worse because he's also just like a Bible boy.
Is it PH or V?
Stephen Harper, it's PH.
Let's do.
And I also want you to Google Andrew Scheer. That's SCHEER.
Yeah, he kind of looks like one of those robots that they brought out to what's the big like electronic conference that happens every year in Vegas?
He is a less convincing human than Sophia the Cyborg.
Yeah, that's Sophia the Cyborg is what I was trying to come out. CES, yes, Commercial Electronics Show. Thank you, Matt. So Stephen Harper is one of he does kind of he kind of just looks like
he looks like he could be Sophia's dad.
Like it just kind of looks like Sliders minimized Theresa May.
And yeah, Andrew Scheer kind of just looks like if you took like a 5th grader and then like grabbed him with the MS Paint like lasso tool and then just stretched him out. Can you spell that for me? Because it's not spelled the way that I thought it was. SCHEER.
Oh, SCHEER. I thought it was Shearer. Oh, wow.
Right? He's just an adult baby.
He's just... This is just a little man. Holy fucking Christ. He's just a little man who got put in a big boy suit.
Which is really funny, because that's more or less the general criticism that the Conservatives lobbed against Justin Trudeau in the last election.
So, yeah, you sound like you've got a great election on the table.
Yeah, well, the thing that sucks the most is, like, the NDP is generally pretty good, but they're doing that thing that center-left parties like to do, where they think going to the center will do good.
Mm-hmm.
And so they go to the center on a lot of issues, and it sucks ass, and I wish they would just, be good. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes, but I'm not super confident about it. And of course, since like the Liberals are already going this Russia angle, the funniest thing about it is that they're going to be like, don't vote for the NDP because you'll just be splitting the left vote. When one of the things that Justin Trudeau literally campaigned on was changing our electoral system so it wasn't first past the post anymore.
Yeah, first past the post is one of the dumbest fucking piece of shit election. Like, it's just...
Well, especially because like we... Like our,
you have options.
Our like the way our members of parliament work is like already like region proportional. It's kind of like the House of Representatives that way.
Okay, yeah.
So it's based on total population that you serve. I think it's usually supposed to be like 110,000 is the amount of people that you're supposed to apply to. So we have 338, I think, in our parliament. Mm-hmm. And like it's already a proportional system, so just having it so that you're not strictly electing as part of your region, and of course the regions are all carved out in ways that make it easier for Conservatives and Liberals to win.
Right.
Like you'll see how some of the Toronto districts look, and it's like let's carve out all like the poor brown people and put them in one district together.
Hell yeah, baby!
Yeah, it's super good, and also Toronto lost the Ontario election by largely going for Ford, and they're gonna fuck us over again in the federal election, and I can just feel it. Toronto sucks ass. Worst city.
Oh man, we live in hell constantly.
Yeah, so I'm excited to be extremely normal online.
I know I say that a lot, but it's just like there's a drill tweet that's just "girls are my wife" constantly, and like that is the platonic ideal of the life I would like to lead. And we live in hell constantly is like the polar opposite of "girls are my wife" constantly.
Yeah, no, it's just the literal opposite. You want to talk about windmills?
I would love to talk about windmills, because Trump, but you know who would love to talk about windmills even more?
Our huge wet president?
Our huge wet president deals would just love to talk about windmills, because he's got a tight 5.
Well, maybe if he stands next to the windmills will cool him off and he won't be so wet anymore.
Hell yeah. So our wet president's got a tight 5. He's heading on down to the Laugh Factory to talk, to do a tight 5 about windmills. Just, try out his chops. He got a spot there. He's been working hard at the local circuit, finally moving up to the big leagues, the Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
Because he just keeps going on and on every chance he gets. He has some really buck wild ass claims about windmills going on lately.
What definitely happens is, like, before he goes on the stage, someone from the oil lobby is, like, right there in the wings, and they just whisper something into his ear.
Yeah, something incomprehensible about windmills. Something that no one else but him would believe about windmills. Well, not no one else.
The thing is I've heard all these things before.
Something that his entire base would believe about windmills.
I have heard almost all these things before, because there was a huge windmill debate in Southern Ontario as well.
You know what?
And it was just as stupid.
God, that is fucking terrible.
The noise causing cancer, heard it. Your property value going down by 75%, heard it. Everything turns off if the wind stops blowing. People didn't, like, go with that one because it's by far the stupidest, but I've heard it.
I don't know. I feel like that one is, like, I mean, it's a very rudimentary understanding of how power works, but, like, I feel like that one is at least, like, you can draw a point from A to B as opposed to the noise causes cancer?
Yeah, no, that one's really popular for some reason.
How?
I think it's like, the thing is, whenever anything that causes any kind of noise or, like, digital signal comes out, someone will make a study linking it to cancer because no one knows how science works. Because they're just like, science is a bitch sometimes, unless I agree with it. So they'll find, like, one study that says it causes cancer, and then they'll just use that as their main point. And so, like, this happened with Wi-Fi in schools too. They're just like, yeah, the Wi-Fi causes cancer. And there were some schools somewhere that managed to get the Wi-Fi taken out for a couple of years based on that.
Fuck?
It's unbelievably stupid. And so, like, yeah, it's apparently not supposed to be the noise so much as the vibrations. Like, I know that's, like, a technicality because all noise is vibrations, but, like, just, like, the low frequency vibrations that it causes.
It hyper vibrates you with just the exact right frequency for your liver to clip into your stomach, and then you have cancer of the liver stomach.
You know what Death Grip says? We need to vibrate higher.
We do need to vibrate higher.
Vibrate higher.
Until the fourth dimension.
And yeah, your house going down 75% in value is particularly stupid because there was a bunch of people in Kingston, Ontario who had, like, island property, so, like, in, like, the bay of Lake Ontario, and got a windmill put on their property, and it was making them so much money, like, just as they were the functional owners of the windmill,
right,
and were selling it back. And they sold all their property and replaced all of it with windmills.
Wait. So they had property and they just, like, privatized the energy on the island?
I think it's something like there was some kind of incentive to building windmills and then selling the power back to the grid.
Okay, I didn't realize the grid was the middle person. I thought it was just like,
yeah. There was a grid as a middle person.
No gods, no masters, just
huge fucking windmills. And yeah, they ended up, like, not living on the island anymore, and the island has a ton of windmills on it now. But anyway, long and short of this whole thing, I'd like to wish a happy 20th anniversary to the premiere of Futurama, and channel Morbo when I say, windmills do not work that way!
So, the thing that I just realized in the middle of this is that, Trump is literally tilting at windmills right now. like, I mean, his entire presidential career has been tilting at windmills, but now he is just literally tilting at windmills.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. There's some giant. I imagine the next thing is going to be like. I imagine his next stump speech is. I don't even know what a stump speech is. I just said it because it sounded right. I just imagine that his next, like, speech is going to be like, there are colossus in our fields waving their arms. We need to climb up on their back and stab the glowing white spot.
The thing about windmills is that they might be giants. Which, fun fact, the 1980-something movie They Might Be Giants is based on that, like that line, and that's where the band got their name. So like I'm very smart.
That's a very good joke. While we're on the topic of Trump, so he posted a video, and brief boilerplate. We don't want to get too deep into this because
I extremely don't want to talk about it in general, but we can get to it in brief.
I want to talk about this video. I don't want to talk about the stuff that led up to it. So basically what happened, I'm sure you've all heard by now, but Joe Biden has been accused by a lot of women at this point of just being generally creepy towards them.
I feel like we've literally talked about this before. But like now it's at a point, but since he's like, running for president, at the point where he's not literally yet.
The Flores, Miss Flores, her allegations was really like the first, like, there's always kind of been like, it's kind of like been like a known secret that like Joe Biden's a little bit handsy, but like, that's it's I don't know. The Flores thing definitely elevated because now more and more people are coming out of the woodworks about it. And like for a day or two, people were like, well, at least Trump can't, like liberals, blue check marks were like, well, at least Trump can't attack him on this front because Trump has like done a billion times worse. And
God, was that just one of the fucking Krasensteins or something that did it originally? Because it sounds like a Krasenstein thing.
I don't think that was a Krasenstein, but the Krasensteins did like quintuple down on their defense of fucking whatever the fuck his nickname is, like Bro
Diamond
Biden.
Joe Biden.
Bro Diamond. How about Bro Diamond? Because he's such a bro.
It could be Bro Diamond, but it's Bro from Homestuck.
Bro Biden and Bro Obama going through bro time and like solving all the bro crimes of all bro history. Like they were at the Gettysburg Address. Is that anything?
It's something. I don't know if it's good, but it's something.
Yeah. Oh, they were responsible for the sinking of the Dude Satania.
Nice.
Thank you.
I have not watched the video because it was posted while I was at work and I forgot to watch it. So what is the contents of this video?
So the original video was Joe Biden just like apologizing, like a really generic boilerplate. The way that men apologize, no offense to you, Matt, I know you're a man, but the way that men apologize whenever they get called out for being fucking creepers. Yeah. And it was just like, I'm sorry, my intentions were never to hurt anyone, I was just blah, 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 blah. But the video that Trump posted was a video that was doctored by some fucking QAnon right-wing chud fucker. And it was, Joe Biden, like, creepily sniffing, like, a doctored Joe Biden creepily sniffing the Joe Biden on the video while he was apologizing and just, like, being doctored Joe Biden being handsy with actual Joe Biden in the video. And it, like, the tweet was just like, welcome back, Joe, in all caps or some shit. But yeah, so, fuck Joe Biden, believe women, Joe Biden is a piece of shit, and, that's all we're gonna say on the matter. You wanna talk about Google fucking eating their own ass?
Oh my god, I knew this panel wasn't gonna fucking last.
Yeah, so Google made, like a week and a half ago, Google made the Advanced Technology External Advisory Council, which is like an AI ethics board. They just kind of want to be like a watchdog for, quote, responsible AI development, which, I trust Google to do that. Because Google's thing is like, don't be evil, which is like,
no, they literally took that out of their byline.
Great. But I mean, at the same time, that's still like the exact same tweet of like, my not involved in human trafficking shirt is raising many questions already answered by my shirt tweet. Like, that's just what that is. So like, on top of that.
That's such a good shirt.
Yeah. They also hired,
Drone guy?
What's that? Not only did they hire drone guy, who not drone women's actually. So hashtag hire more women guards. Hire more women guards.
Yes.
Diane Gibbons of Trumbull Unmanned, which is an unmanned. To clarify, because this threw me for a loop. Because the first time I saw it, I thought they meant like the drones that like
piloted drones
rich dudes fly in a park. And I'm like,
I would have just assumed like the ones that they get like video game players to use in the Middle East to shoot brown people. But I guess it's fully unmanned, unpiloted drones.
Yeah, this is just unmanned drone things.
These are just robots that they throw into the desert that shoot indiscriminately.
Yeah, they shoot people. Well, no, Matt, it's not indiscriminate. It's potential terror threats, which is brown men over the age of 17.
No, it's literally brown men of military age.
Yeah.
That's literally the criteria.
Yeah. They discussed this on a recent episode of Citations Needed, which, obligatory shout out to Citations Needed. It's a great podcast.
It's a good fucking podcast.
Yeah. So now in addition to that, there's also K. Coles James, who is the president of the Heritage Foundation.
I'm not familiar with the Heritage Foundation, actually.
So the Heritage Foundation is like a right-wing... I'm just going to double-check this, make sure... I think I know what the Heritage Foundation is, but I just want to make sure that I have my...
Okay,
details.
I went to Google Heritage Foundation, and it auto-completed to Heritage Foundation Jordan Peterson. So that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That explains it as well as anything else would need to.
Yeah, it's an extremely influential conservative...
It's a conservative think tank.
Yeah, it's conservative research organization. Yeah, so...
okay, well, yeah, but you can just call them think tanks, because that's what they are.
Yeah, but yeah, K. Coles James is also, like, an extremely virulent transphobe, like, publicly. Like, on top of all that other stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're like a conservative think tank, like that's your whole bit.
Yeah.
That's like the Manning Institute in Canada is very similar. It's just a bunch of shitty old transphobes.
So one of the other things, one of the other members, Miss Joanna Bryson, did not resign from the advisory council because her justification was saying, believe it or not, I know worse about one of the other people, which is one of the most wild justifications I have ever heard.
Man, remember when it was like Google's collecting all your information, but it seems they're not being evil about it, and then it turns out they were being evil about it? That's like... At some point, it was like, Google collects all my information, but it seems like they're at least trying to do some good with it.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously that was naive.
Like,
we all just
wanted Google to be, like, folding at home. Like, folding at home was kind of just what we wanted.
Folding at home was so nice.
Folding at home was great, and then they made that into Bitcoin.
Oh my god, that is what made Bitcoin.
I mean, obviously it's not the same people behind it, but, like...
Well, but, like, okay, I always thought about this when I was thinking about Bitcoin, because, right, like, the whole thing with Bitcoin is it's just, like, you're using your GPU to solve a bunch of, like, equations, right?
Right, to find bits of coins.
Yeah, so, yeah, and the whole thing with folding at home is it was using the processing power of PS3s as a distributed network to help solve, like, it was some kind of, like, protein folding, and that was why it was called folding at home, and it was to, like, try to solve cancer.
Yeah.
That was the whole bit. And, like, what if that, but for money? Well, I mean, but just the whole thing is, like, why couldn't Bitcoin have at least been based on some kind of useful calculation? It's just doing random-ass math. It's literally just doing, like, sheets of math homework. And I don't go to school anymore. I explicitly dropped out because I didn't want to do any more fucking math homework. And then I went to school for radio broadcasting, and now I have a podcast like every other fucking white boy.
You have a degree in podcasting, Matt.
I have a podcast network. This is what I have done.
Look upon my works, ye mighties, and feel despair on my behalf.
Yeah, I have a podcast network, and I dropped out of university, and I'm drinking a stout.
A podcast network that we all cherish very dearly.
Oh no, I love Noise Space with all my heart.
Noise Space Family good.
Noise Space Family good. But yeah, no, like, I get so mad thinking about Bitcoin. Like, every time you realize a way in which it's stupid, you can realize a further way in which it's even more fucking stupid.
Hey, Matt, I got a quick question.
What?
What if it was called Shitcoin?
What if it was called Shitcoin? Hey, you know what was good? Dogecoin.
Dogecoin was not good, and just because you had a hand in the creation of Doge does not mean that you are entitled to... It does not mean that the rest of Doge is good.
Doge is good. I love the Doge memes that happen now where it's just like a kid who existed in the 90s.
Yeah.
And he's like playing Pokemon and going to the Pokemon movie. And I also love the Doge where Doge's wife is Isabel.
Yeah.
And they're very proud of their gay child.
Yeah, because Doge is a girl.
Yeah, no, they're gay and their child is also gay.
Yeah, obviously.
Have you ever just like... Follow Kabosu on Instagram. That's an adorable dog.
Yeah. But anyways, looping back around to the Google thing, the reason that's in the news again is because they just decided to fucking say, you know what? Nope, we're not doing this. Bye. This never happened.
See, the thing is, one thing you could say. I know that.
Oh my
Hold
God.
on.
Matt, sorry, I just remembered like a huge story that I really wanted to talk about. Go on. We'll talk about it in a little bit because it relates to Google.
Yeah. The thing about Google is you don't under any circumstances gotta hand it to them, but they at least realize when the winds aren't going in their direction, which makes them very different from Jack Twitter and Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah. I wish that we called him Mark Facebook.
What if we called him Mark Facebook?
So the I guess we can talk about the so the other Google thing is that I wanted to bring this on like 2 weeks ago when I was supposed to be on, but I had a very bad case of the brains, and
I mean mood.
Yeah. So instead, I'm bringing it now. So a couple of weeks ago, Google unveiled their new project, Stadia, which is their video game streaming thing. Which
oh my god,
which purports
this isn't gonna work.
Which purports to just like send games to your like computer, so you don't have to worry about any of the processing on your end.
I love to not own my games even more than I already don't own them.
Yeah, like. Conceptually, this is like some future cool shit. Like, oh shit, I don't need like a fucking 50 teraflop hard drive to fucking. I actually know terms. I don't know why I'm throwing out terms like I don't know what a computer is made of, but like, it's just like. The
thing about teraflops is even if you know what it is, it still fucking sounds fake.
It sounds so fucking fake, but
it's the fakest thing in the world.
Yeah, but so Google unveiled their new streaming technology of Stadia, which would like let you play games on your phone or your computer, or like, and there are some cool things built in there. I can't lie and say that I'm not fully, and that I'm 100% like not at least intrigued. Like the thing where it lets you like just say like, oh, I'm stuck here, find me a YouTube video that does it, but on the other hand, then there's YouTube integration problems, which is just going to be a thing, because it's going to show you, like, how to do...
Also, there's just going to be Nazis in it.
Yeah.
You know there is.
Because, like, the thing is, it's going to be, like, you're going to be like, okay, Google, help me figure out how to beat this boss in Nier Automata, I can't do it, and then Google will be like, okay, showing you how to beat boss in Nier Automata.
And it just gives you a Jordan Peterson video.
Yeah, well, then it auto-plays up next. It's like...
Yeah, clean your fucking room.
Yeah.
Eat only meat and have absolutely disgusting cum as a result.
It's a little bit hard to follow the directives of the androids in that game because it goes from become as gods to clean your room and eat your meat.
Eat your meat, but don't beat it. You absolutely cannot masturbate under any circumstance.
Beat your meat.
You can't do it. My favorite thing about this is, hey, remember when Google had that like nationwide contest to show that they were going to install like gigabit fiber internet in a city, and then they like picked some random fucking city in Kansas, and then they started doing it, and then they just stopped doing it, and then pulled out all their support after the city had done so much to like accommodate Google, and then just never fucking talked about it ever again. Hey, remember this America where there's like 3 companies that own all the internet, and the internet sucks and the infrastructure's falling apart?
Yes.
This is the best place where I could think to introduce this streaming only thing where data caps exist, and this is going to use 4 gigabytes of data an hour.
Like, the thing is that I don't trust this shit if, like, Microsoft did it, or if, like, Sony did it. Like, I mean, I guess Sony kind of does do it with PS Now, I guess, technically, but, like...
Xbox is going to be doing it with Games Pass. Like, that's going to be a thing.
It is, but, like... I have problems with those companies doing it, but, like, I have less problems with them doing it because they are not just gonna fucking, like... Remember how long Microsoft stuck with the Kinect after that fucking shit? Like, the Kinect was, like, you could buy the Kinect at, like, full price. Like, it was still coming bundled, like, 5 years after it came out.
You can get a Kinect now for, like, $3.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to do it just to do some, like, fun homebrew shit with it.
Yeah, you can get it now for $3, but Google...
What if we nationalize Stadia?
Right. The thing that I was saying was just that I barely trust Microsoft and Sony to do this stuff when they have shown dedication to keeping with this. Google's first thing out the gate just saying, hey, you don't really own any of this. You're just buying the rights to play it and stream it over your fucking massive, like...
Well, because you know they're not going to be able to offer the games at a lower price.
No, they're not.
Because, like, that's like a whole sticking point with the whole retail market of video games is that you could never really do that unless you're Steam, basically.
Like, and how are these games going to be archived? Because I do not fucking trust Google with 1 cent of, like, anything. And there have already been confirmed that there will be exclusives on this platform. And
and, like, archiving is already so hard for video games. Incremental updates, things like PT completely disappearing.
That court case from a couple of years ago only said that, like, only allowed the archivization of games that are, like, the digital archivization monetization of games like going over companies' heads that are over 10 years old. So like,
yeah, and even then, like, Nintendo still will take down Super Nintendo ROMs off the internet.
Right, yeah. Because that Nintendo has a defense of that not being really for the purposes of archiving, but more for the sake of, redistribution of things that they could otherwise be making money on, which they're not.
They're not, because they, even when they had the Virtual Console up, they sold, 50 Super Nintendo games out of the library of over 900 games?
Yeah,
like it's stupid.
Yeah.
I get mad. I fucking love Nintendo, but, they're a company, and you don't trust companies. That's just what you have to boil down to.
Games preservation is such an important thing that is just not happening, and, every game, no matter what game it is, deserves to be preserved as just, a thing in history. There are stories to these games. And we cannot just let these things vanish into history, because there have already been countless video games that have just been lost to time, and there will be countless more.
Not even old games either. It is literally impossible to get the Scott Pilgrim.
You cannot get the Scott Pilgrim game. You cannot get PT. You cannot get what's the third one that people always bust out? I can never remember. But you can't get PT anymore anywhere. And thank God there are some archivists out there doing God's fucking work, keeping that shit around so that it can be seen and experienced by.
I'm really glad that the Nintendo piracy scene is strong enough that any game that Nintendo's ever released is pretty much archived somewhere at this point.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't have to come to this.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't. The streaming idea does seem like I get the appeal of it. I don't like the fact that next year I'm probably gonna have to quote unquote. I'm probably going to upgrade to a PlayStation 5. And, that's another, $400 out of my pocket, but, I have no idea what the monetization, what, the price point is going to be for this, Google thing. Am I going to have to pay, for the games and also pay for the streaming? Am I just paying for the streaming? How much am I paying for the streaming if I pay for the games? And,
they literally said that they wanted to make it Spotify for games, which, is exciting to some people, but, raises immediate red flags.
It's exciting
are
to
developers even going to
doesn't...
get fucking paid?
It's exciting to literally anyone who has never heard of how Spotify's monetization works.
Or who doesn't care.
Yeah.
The vast majority of people who are heavy Spotify users, they don't give a shit.
There was a reasonably big musician, I can't remember who it was, but my brain is saying it might have been Peter Gabriel or someone, was going around at the end of last year or the year before, just saying yeah, my songs got played 500,000 times last year and I made $6 off it.
Yeah. Even fucking Rick Astley out of Rickrolling made slightly more money than that.
Yeah.
From the one video.
Yeah. Ugh. And
we are the two perfect people to have on about digital content rights management.
Yeah.
Because we get so fucking mad.
Yeah, it's just I don't want to see these things in his and Google, you mentioned Google's fiber thing, but, it's not just that. Pretty much everything Google has ever done as, quote-unquote, an experiment has completely just crashed, burned, and disappeared.
Yeah, which is why I'm really excited
Google
that
Google, what the fuck ever. If you say Google and a word after it, you will probably come up with something that Google has made and abandoned. You
want to hear the really exciting part about it? What? Is that they are literally trying to buy a neighborhood in Toronto to make an experimental city.
Fucking kill me.
It's called it's Sidewalk Labs, and they're a subsidiary of Alphabet, which is of course Google's parent company. Technically not Google, but it's Google. And there's been a lot more pushback lately, especially since New York's Amazon decision, because they're this people in the city are basically what the fuck is in it for us?
Yeah.
Why are we giving you huge subsidies to build your fucking techno future garbage on the waterfront when there's thousands of homeless people in the city? You're not doing anything.
Yeah.
You're not helping the existing transit network. You're not helping anything. You're just building a playground for rich people to play in, and that's fucking sucks.
Yeah. And, there have been, some serious doubts about how this will even work. I know you already mentioned the thing about, the data caps that this will run into almost invariably, because streaming this is going to is just going to be so data intensive.
I mean, even without money, you just have to consider bandwidth. Bandwidth is not designed, even Netflix is 50% of the United States bandwidth, and this is going to be a lot more.
Yeah. If you go back and watch the presentation of, there's a moment where, the guy is, where the person, doing the jump.
It fucking buffers.
Yeah. Where the person's on screen, because the way that it works is that, your controller is not connected to the system that it is doing. It is connected to a remote server that is just feeding your input into the game, which is delivering that to your like screen. So. But the thing is that, like, with all that passing around, like, if you watch closely, you can see the guy just, like, hammering the interact button while, like, trying to, like, climb up something in Assassin's Creed, and it takes him, like, a good half second to, like, 0.75 seconds, and, like, there are games where that won't matter. Like, Assassin's Creed, I think, is probably one of the best genres for that, because Assassin's Creed is very, like...
Could you imagine a fucking fighting game?
Oh, you can't play fighting... Like, fighting games are...
The FGC will never... adapt to this technology.
Absolutely not. FGC will literally never touch a game off of a streaming service. Like, never. Like, it's hard.
I mean, like Melee, like, I'm thinking, like, Melee players won't even play emulated Melee most of the time because the input lag of even 2 frames will completely mess up everything.
Yeah, like, even, like, there's still, like, you know, there's net play warriors versus, like, actual, like local players. Net play warriors are almost always worse because they can't, like, not always worse. Like, there are obvious exceptions. Like, in Dragon Ball FighterZ, Hook Gang God, for example, one of, like, the premier, like, you see his name in top 8s everywhere, and he is, like, he was only a net play player for a good while. But, like, even, you are just not going to see, there is never going to be a fighting game that comes to this. There is never going to be a game that requires, like, precise timing. There's never going to be, like, a From Software game that comes to this, probably.
Even platformers won't work.
Oh my god, no. Can you imagine trying to play Celeste with, like, even a fraction of a delay?
I can't even play Celeste now. I'm bad at video games.
Yeah, that's valid. It's just, there are so many problems with this, and I'm kind of concerned to see where this is going to go. Like,
I don't like it.
I have a few things about it that I'm excited about, just because.
I mean, the main thing I'm excited for with the idea of being able to stream games is being able to play, like, games that would require a lot more processing power on my handy dandy Nintendo Switch.
Right,
I want to play Halo on my Nintendo Switch.
There is something definitely attractive to, like, my computer is like I've got a pretty good computer, but it's not like top of the line.
I got a Beef Boy.
Yeah, there is something pretty attractive to, like, being able to, like, you know, just for example, like Forza Horizon 4, just playing that on max settings. Like, I'd like to see what that looks like on my computer, but, like, the cons, the potential cons at this point just really, really outweigh the pros, and it's going to take a long time for me to actually be okay with this in any way, shape, or form.
This could be good, but it would require 2 things, and that is nationalizing all internet and throwing copyright in the garbage.
Yeah.
So if we just do those 2 things, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
that's only 2 things, right?
Yeah. And
I don't think that'll take that much. I don't think we'll have any backlash to those 2 things whatsoever.
I guess we can move into shoutouts now.
Yeah.
So first shoutout, after like 22 days after about 22, I'm getting my numbers mixed up because she was subjected to 22 hours of solitary confinement a day, but after about like
it's a couple months now, isn't it?
No, it hasn't been that long. About 2 or 3 weeks worth of time. Chelsea Manning has been. I'm going to double check I'm just going to double check out of curiosity because you said months and I think weeks, and I just want to make sure that I'm not saying
time is fake.
Yeah.
No, I also just don't know what time is, so it's fine.
Yeah, let's just check that real quick. 4 weeks. Jesus fucking Christ.
Right?
Yeah. So, yeah, Chelsea Manning, as you're aware, was jailed for refusing to testify because she was just, like, saying that pretty much them trying to make her testify was just, like, them trying to put her in them trying to get her to perjure herself.
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, okay, go to jail, because that's just a thing you can do for not testifying, you know?
Yeah, grand juries fucking suck ass.
You know how you have a right to remain silent?
Yeah, not with grand juries, you don't.
You don't at all. But yeah, so she got held in contempt of court for 4 weeks, where she was subjected to 22 hours of solitary confinement a day. Which is fucking
I hate to hear it.
Unfathomable cruelty.
Even, like, literally, even if I had, like, full amenities, I couldn't even imagine it.
Oh my god, no. Like, if you if you give me everything I want, but just keep me in a room with no external communication, no way. I could not last a day, let alone
I would fucking
4
die.
weeks.
I literally, I have a very well-paying job currently, but I keep my old job at the gym literally just to talk to people.
Yeah.
I would fucking die.
Yeah, like, it's Chelsea Manning is literally, like, obviously very much braver than every U.S. Marine combined.
She's braver than every U.S. Marine combined.
Yeah.
That's just a fact.
Yeah, but she has been released from that sort of treatment, and she's just now in general population of prison. You know, still in prison.
She's still in prison.
Still in prison for not saying words. But you know, that's just this country.
Yeah,
we live in hell constantly.
Which, like, if Obama wasn't a bitch, he would have pardoned her and not just given her clemency.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Which, like, I mean, it's still good that he did the clemency thing, but it was a bitch move not pardoning.
Yeah. The thing is that Obama would still have been, even if Obama had done that, he still would have been a bitch.
He was a fuck.
Yeah. A piece of shit. That's always one that I like.
Oh man, fuck! I want pizza now. We need to end this podcast so I can go eat.
Is this the Toppers Pizza Party Hour Part 2?
It's the Toppers Eats Pizza Party Hour Part 2. Better believe it.
Let's talk about a couple other shout-outs real quick, though.
Yeah. Elon Musk.
Yeah. No, sorry. Emo G. Is his rapper name. Get it? Like emoji? His name is Emo Space.
I was so fucking mad
G.
when I realized the pun that he was making.
Yeah.
Because I thought he was just being annoying, but he was just being double annoying.
Yeah. But
it sucks.
Yeah.
He made a fucking SoundCloud rap where he referenced Harambe, and it's absolutely going to be edited in right here.
No, it's not.
Right here.
And we thinking about you. All your gorillas, we love you. R.I.P. Harambe, sipping on some Bombay, we on the way.
But yeah,
it's gonna be in here somewhere.
He did a rap on Harambe, and it was like at 7. He posted it at like 7 a.m. on Sunday, March 31st, just to make sure it was crystal fucking clear that this is not an April Fool's joke. This is just him doing comedy.
He's having his meltdown. May still has not ended.
He is continuing to melt down into March.
Yeah, like we are almost at a full year of meltdown May at this point.
Yeah.
Which, man, fucking Grimes is having a normal one, too. It's kind of sad to see, because I really liked Grimes.
Yeah, I think we all did.
It's, like, I know a lot of people didn't, and that's fine, and that's valid, but, like, she seemed genuinely cool for a bit. Like, she was obviously, like, a privileged white art student.
Yeah,
and that
very
was, like,
much so.
very much her initial vibe. But, like, she was also explicitly anti-capitalist for a bit, and then she started dating fucking Elon Musk. And now she changed her name to The Speed of Light and wants to make an album about how climate change is cool.
Yeah, because
like I like enough from what I know about her, like it's obviously facetious, but like at the same time, read the fucking room.
Yeah, definitely.
Country music still racist.
Yeah, absolutely.
So not content with merely having one black person on their charts ever in history, and that being Hootie from Hootie and the Blowfish.
His name is Darius Rucker.
I know, but he's Hootie.
Yeah, he is. The thing is that he is Hootie.
he's Hootie.
So Lil Nas X put out this absolute fucking banger of a track. Like, I haven't touched country music in a while, ever since I went through my country phase in my teens. But Lil Nas X put out Old Town Road, which fucking slaps, fucking rips. It's a bop. Everything about it is fucking phenomenal.
The thing about, like, Southern rap and country, I know they've definitely met before, and it's been awkward most every time. Accidental Racist was literally one of our ending songs once.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
and
this is like a merge. This is like just a merge of trap and country music, and
except it didn't have a white person on it, and that was its crime.
Right. Funny side note about this: I got when I was over at Andrea, my girlfriend's house recently. She got recommended a video that was like, this one beat is ruining country music, and like we clicked on it because we thought it was going to be like
it was literally just a trap beat.
We thought it was going to be something insightful about like how like country music, how there's like something that's just like lazy country musicians are doing or something, but it was literally just, this is a snap beat, and I don't like it because that's from rap music, and that's black people. Like,
The thing is, like,
literally,
country and rap have so much in common.
yeah. But yeah, so Lil Nas X puts out Old Town Road, and he put that out at the end of, like, last year, and, like, through just, like, sheer, just, like, I am just genuinely impressed at the hustle. I mean, if you, like, the only bootstrap story that I believe in is Lil Nas X, because he just, like, was just, like, doing shit posts on TikTok and Twitter and shit, and Instagram, just to provide the word of mouth to get his song, like, off the ground.
Yeah.
And now it is just, like, well, it would be topping the country music charts if Billboard didn't say, actually, this is technically not country music. We don't, so we're gonna take it off the charts.
Until.
So, yeah, and that was fucked up because it's not like that, it's, you know, there's obviously been precedent for Billboard keeping track of, like, multiple songs. Like, I'm pretty sure Taylor Swift continues to chart on country music because she started
sometimes
there, even though...
If there's a guitar in the song, then yes.
Yeah, but, like, because Taylor Swift started in country music, like, that, like, she still charts there sometimes, and also on the pop charts. But because Lil Nas X is black, they were like, nah, we can't do that. And then Lil Nas was like, okay, can I speak to the manager? And then Billy Ray Cyrus came out and did a verse on the track with him. And Billy Ray Cyrus's verse on it also fucking rips.
Yeah, no, okay, Billy Ray Cyrus, Achy Breaky Heart sucks fucking ass, and...
Much to think about.
But this was good.
What to heck?
We, for this week, will stand.
Yeah, actually, the end for this is just going to be like the core. The end for this week just has to be Old Town Road.
Oh, no, it has to be.
Yeah.
The remix, of course.
Yes.
But,
yes.
yeah, we will not extend this to a permanent stand, but for this week, we
stand Billy Ray Cyrus, yeah.
We stand Billy Ray Cyrus this week. One more quick shout-out. I want to give a shout-out to all the Ontario high school students that walked out protesting Doug Ford's education cuts, which I kind of alluded to earlier in the episode. Like, there was huge walkouts, like, all across the entire province.
Yeah.
And, like, there's supposed to be cuts that are supposed to cut, like, something like 3,000 to 8,000 teacher positions because they want to increase the maximum class size from, like, 22 to 28.
Mm-hmm.
The general thing you got to know about Ontario's public education system is that it's pretty fucking good. Like, obviously, it still often fails disabled students and will sometimes fail students of color in the way that it delivers, like, its deliverables, mostly because of conservative governments enforcing things like standardized testing.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it generally does pretty good, and, like, people from the Ontario education system generally tend to do pretty well comparing to, like, you know, private schools that pay exorbitant tuitions.
Yeah.
Like, it's a public education system, and it's robust, and it's being attacked. And shout out to the kids who said fuck that.
Yeah. Yeah. You got anything else? Because if not...
We actually have a question in our inbox.
We do have a question in our inbox. I was just looking at that. This question from Tumblr user Siberian Pine. Hi, since I'm currently in Twitter jail for saying I hope someone, quote, dies of plague, quote, if we have no deal Brexit, my question is, what's the dumbest reason you've ever been banned from a website? I once got banned from Twitter for saying TERF's Stop Breathing Challenge. But I guess just, like, saying anything negative about a TERF is just kind of like...
Yeah, I also said I had my account locked for saying TERF should die, so...
Yeah.
Similar hat.
Like, I mean, like, honestly, sometimes it just feels like tilting at windmills saying bad things about TERFs on that website, because all that will happen is you will get locked out of your account for 12 hours and then permaban the next time you do it, because, like...
I got banned from the Control-Alt-Delete forums for saying to Tim Buckley that his comic was a little racist.
When I was very young, I got banned from the Escapist forums for 2 weeks because I tried to make a thread where we counted to 1 million.
God, I love forums. They're so fucking good.
And like I was just like, I'll start 1, and people are like, this is fucking stupid, and die.
God.
But yeah,
we have a question from Dr. Balls Dandy. Do you think next year is the year Pokemon goes and dies? I think this is from our old
that's from our
predictions episode that we never did.
Yeah.
But we're praying, and I'm actually going to repost the event page on the HKIP Facebook, which is literally just episode reposts right now, but I'm going to post this event to it, and go and we're all charging a spirit bomb to have Henry Kissinger die on 420.
Yes, God.
We're all putting our energy towards this. We all need to put your hands up and support Goku to kill Henry Kissinger on 420.
Cut that. You did just say kill Henry Kissinger, Matt. I do want to let you know.
We don't have to cut it. To have Henry Kissinger die. I live in another country. They can't get me here.
Yeah, I guess so.
Also, I said for Goku to do it, and Goku isn't fucking real, Sarah.
Oh, fuck you, Goku's real.
Goku is real and strong, and he's gonna legalize weed.
He doesn't give a hot gay fuck.
Yeah, legalize weed, dude.
You want to get the Lightbringers?
We can get to some Lightbringers. You want to go first?
Yeah. My Lightbringer this week is probably gonna be, I think I've recommended this one before, but I'm gonna recommend it again because it just finished. It's two actually, because I finished watching two animes this week. One was Run with the Wind, which is a show about cross-country running. I guess cross-country, long distance, whatever it's called. But, It took like a couple, I was gonna say it took a couple episodes, but really I just kind of fell in love with the entire show from episode 1. The only gripe I had about it is that like the main character kind of fucking sucks ass until the first until like the 11th episode, but like there's an ensemble cast of like 12 characters, and him just kind of being a turd doesn't really deter you from enjoying the rest of the characters, who are all fucking delightful. The end of the show is so emotional and heartfelt, and it made me cry, and like one of the best sports anime I've ever seen.
Hell yeah.
The other anime that I want to talk about is Promised Neverland, which is, I'm not going to say much of anything about except for there are 3 children and they have very big brains, and they live in a house with a bunch of other children who have also pretty big brains, but not as big as their brains. And it's a fucking phenomenal anime, and I really can't wait for the second season.
God, I never watch anime, but I really enjoyed this season of Mob Psycho 100.
Yeah, it
was really fucking good.
I'm watching Mob Psycho, I'm watching Shinsekai Yori with Sophie right now, which is another really good anime. And when we finish that, we're gonna get right into Mob season 2.
Yeah, the thing about Mob is that 1, it's 0% horny. And that's really like a lot of people's complaint about trying to get into anime.
Have you seen the way Studio Bones animates Reagan?
That's what people keep saying to me. And you cannot deny Reagan his inherent sexuality. He's just a sexual being, and we have to cope with that. He's got horny energy. He's got the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like it's just the whole show is about friendship and kindness in a way that I don't feel is tackled by like kind of shonen anime in general.
It is a masterful deconstruction of the shonen anime, and that is a field that the author likes to work in as evidence.
God, fucking One Punch Man season 2 premieres like in a week.
Yeah, so I was gonna say as evidenced by One Punch Man, which is another deconstruction of the shonen genre, which is just a hero that you literally cannot beat and will just kill you with one touch.
But also just like doesn't care and wears shirts that say tits on it.
Yeah, it's not as good as Mob Psycho 100. Mob Psycho 100
not even close.
Yeah, because Mob Psycho 100 also does not have some of the weird homophobia that One Punch Man had. It does have that weird episode in season 1 where they do the funny dress thing, but that's like a 30-second bit, and it's very easily skippable.
Yeah.
And it's worth skipping, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, the whole episode basically just boils down to like he's a creep who didn't think who haunted the school because girls wouldn't talk to him. Cool, big fucking whoop.
Yeah.
Just you skip the whole episode. That's the thesis. But actually, that wasn't even going to be my Lightbringer this week. My Lightbringer was going to be an episode of the podcast Dog Island, because all I do is recommend podcast episodes on this now. Dog Island is generally a like Halifax-focused leftism podcast, which is like a very, very niche topic. And I don't expect a lot of people to be really into that. But they did an episode talking about like union in the games industry.
Nice.
And just talking about like how labor in the games industry works in general. And it is just a really fucking good episode of podcasting. Like they ask a lot of really insightful questions, and they're jokey enough the whole time that it's like really entertaining to listen to. And also I just really like the podcast Dog Island. I don't even live in Halifax, and I barely even know people who live in Halifax, but it's like they're enough of like good personalities that it's fun to listen to them talk about it anyway.
Yeah. You want to move?
That's podcast.
Yeah, cleanup time?
Cleanup time.
All right, so thank you for listening to this week's episode of Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die, Not a Threat, Just a Fact. We are HKIPGTD everywhere. That is us on Twitter. That is us on Facebook. That is us on Tumblr. That is us on Reddit. Thank you to Reddit user Bisexual Punch Party for setting that up and maintaining it. You are an unsung hero, except, well, you are a sung hero, but we should sing you more.
Yes.
And also on Patreon, if you would like to support the show, we have $1 a month gets you access to everything. Any post-show, pre-show, extended Lightbringers. Our most recent one was a new thing we're doing called Cut for Time, where
it's good.
Yeah, it's a bit of a deeper dive into a topic than we normally get into on a week, except for last week when we spent 30 minutes on Garfield Eats.
Man, okay, that was really fucking good.
No, it was good. I don't mean... Again,
actually, I wanted to give an update on that. My friend Jay, who is a listener of the podcast, lives in Toronto.
Okay.
They're launching the app properly next week. He is going to order the Garfield pizza. Updates will be given on the show.
I cannot wait.
It is gonna happen.
But yeah, Alex did a Cut for Time about racism in fashion, and it's really fucking good.
Me and Eden are eventually doing one about the founding of the NDP party.
Yep.
In Canada,
And,
which we've been threatening it for ages. It's gonna happen.
If you like the Game of the Thrones, we've got we've probably got 6 extended Lightbringers about that coming up, because they're going to talk about but not me, but like other people on
I'll be
show,
there.
Who are going to be talking about A Storm of Swords, and it's going to be good.
Which is, like, even if it's not your favorite book, you cannot deny that it is the slappingest book in the A Song of Ice and Fire series.
I can deny it, but that's an argument for a different day, because I just have
That's fine.
I just love A Feast for Crows with all my heart.
It doesn't, like, it's good, but it's not slapping. Like, there's a difference between good and slaps.
I think that Feast slaps.
Okay, fine.
But we can
Go
agree to
on.
disagree. $5
Thank
a month,
our patrons.
$5 a month gets you special user status in the Discord, and also what's the? Oh yeah, get your name right on the show. I completely forgot. $10 a month, all that stuff gets you.
Plus, you get to listen to our
Yeah, you get
podcast
to
as
listen
we
to the podcast
record it.
live, like before people are doing right now. We should do these earlier recordings. We should do these early recordings.
Yeah, we usually do not get 4 people.
Yeah. But, we also shout out on the podcast. So thank you to Dr. Activisionary, Butt Chuggington, Roan the Other V, Berg, Burgermeister, fully automated luxury gay space Hellcat, Stephanie Ruff, Pregnant Seinfeld, David Besser, Oh Whoa What's This, Alex Schaup. I froze for a second there because I thought I mispronounced it. And I was
No, it is Schaup.
Okay, good. Oingo Zuma Kuwa Boingo, Six Armed Sweater, the one furry that constantly changes their name, Nick Verne, Alex Hoot, Dick Butt is the Real Jesus, Maximilian Rower, Tuster McGee, Kangaroo, Bryant, Mogu, Nick Clarkson, Kadeho, Flo Siegel, Sophie, Destry Hawk, Single Pair, Sonic Mpreg, PR the Disaster, The Tallest Jew, Michael Weems, Surrey Jack, Non-Binary with Left Beef, Hank Hills, Hentai, Hankering, Summergeist, Helga K, 1000 Gangars, Harry Tomlinson.
Oh, that's a new one.
Dijonnaise, Actual Socialist Elon the Musk, Chaz Goblin, Paul Blart Fleshcart, Evan, Oleanders, and Ellen the Anarcho-Holandiest.
Man, Ellen the Anarcho-Holandiest really is the perfect one to end on.
It really is. Thank you, Ellen. We love you.
Thank you for being our computer scare.
Yeah. And of course, Ellen the Anarcho-Holandiest.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God. Citations Needed's really good, guys. Listen to it, please.
Thank you again very much to @Legit Tay Updates for coming on to do that interview with us. Fucking
Yes.
phenomenal that we were able to. Thank you so much for responding to us and getting back to us and doing this with us. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you to the Taxpayers for the fact that we get to use their song Evil Men off of the album Cold Hearted Town. Absolute slapper. Thank you very much to Noisepace.xyz, the podcast network
that's me.
that everyone loves. Go listen to all the podcasts on there. My pick this week is City Girls Make Do, as it is all weeks, because City Girls Make Do is it's one of my favorite podcasts on the network, and also just one of my favorite podcasts.
It's very good, and I'm not just saying that because I am the boyfriend of the show.
Yeah, no, it's a really, really good show. Anything else? Oh yeah, we're also on Spotify.
Yes,
so
HKIP is on Spotify, and
s-
also every other noise-based show will be on Spotify as soon as I bother to do it.
Yep.
Because I'm just going to do it myself because it's easier.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die, Not a Threat.
Just a fact.
And until next time, Memento Pokemori.
Memento Pokemori.
Can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. Hat down, cross town, living like a rock star. Spend a lot of money on my brand new guitar. Baby's got a habit, diamond rings and Fendi sports bras. Riding down Rodeo in my Maserati sports car. Got no stress, I've been through all